Can one single piece of content living on someone else's website really send your own traffic soaring by 25%? I know, it sounds a little too good to be true, right? But the data actually suggests it's not only possible, it's a strategy you can repeat.
25%. Seriously, just let that number sit with you for a moment. We're not talking about a tiny little incremental gain here. That is some serious, measurable growth from just one action. So the big question is, how on earth does that work?
We're kind of framing this as the 25% traffic mystery. Because, let's be honest, for a lot of people, how you get that kind of growth feels like a total puzzle. But don't you worry, we are about to lay out all the pieces and put them together for you.
Okay, so the most important thing to get right away is that this is not about luck. It's not some secret digital magic trick. It all comes down to a very deliberate strategy, built on three main pillars: finding a super relevant place for your content, making sure that content is absolutely top-notch quality, and of course, getting it in front of the exact right people. It sounds simple, but as you're about to see, the real magic is in the execution.
All right, it's time to pull back the curtain on what our source material calls SEO's secret weapon. This is really the engine that powers that 25% growth, and you know what? It all boils down to a pretty simple concept.
It all starts with something called backlinks. Here's a way to think about it. Imagine the entire internet is a giant popularity contest. Every single time another website links to yours, search engines like Google see that as a vote of confidence. And the more these credible votes you get, the more your site's authority just grows and grows.
And this is a huge but. Not all votes are created equal. Not even close. This is where a little something called domain authority, or DA, comes into play. It's basically a score that predicts how well a website is likely to rank. A link from a site with a low DA is, well, it's nice. But a link from a site with a really high DA? Oh, that is an absolute game changer.
And this slide right here really puts it all into perspective. A low authority link? Think of it like a quiet recommendation from a friend. Helpful, but maybe not world-changing. But a high authority link, especially from a site with a DA of 70 or higher, that's like getting a massive shout-out from a major industry leader. One barely moves the needle, the other can literally skyrocket your ranking and your traffic.
Okay, so you get it. High authority links are the goal. But how do you actually get them? This is where the real work begins. Welcome to the High Authority Playbook. We're going to walk you through two super powerful strategies you can start using.
First up is the DA70 guest post strategy. It's a really focused three-step process. Step 1 is to target. This means you got to do your homework and find popular, high-authority sites in your specific niche that actually welcome guest writers. Step 2 is to craft. You can't just send them any old article. You have to create something amazing that solves a real problem for their audience, and it has to have a natural link back to your site. And finally, step 3, follow up. This is where you do the outreach to get the thing published, and this is just as important, you have to measure its impact.
And if you're wondering just how powerful this can be, get this. A case study in our sources talked about a SaaS site that boosted its traffic by a jaw-dropping 2,000% just by using strategic guest posting. So yeah, this isn't just a theory. It gets massive real-world results.
So that's the power of high authority links for reaching a big, broad audience. But what if your goal is a little more local? What if you want to be the biggest name in your town? Well, this second play from our playbook shows you how the exact same idea, building authority, works just on a different scale. This one is for all the local businesses out there.
The secret to dominating local search starts with your Google My Business profile, but it definitely doesn't end there. You have to optimize your GMB profile down to the last detail, pair it with a solid long-term SEO plan, and, there it is again, focus on building those same high-quality links, maybe from other respected local businesses or news outlets. You do that, and the result? Well, one client in our source material used this exact method to hit the #1 spot in their local search results.
So as we start to wrap this up, let's look at this whole thing in a new way. This isn't just a random collection of tactics, it's really the foundation of a solid digital growth plan that you can start thinking about for your own business or your own projects.
So, let's quickly recap the biggest takeaways from all this. First, remember that a single backlink from a high-authority DA70+ site can have a huge impact. Second, strategic guest posting is a powerful way to earn those links, even though it takes real effort. Third, if you're a local business, your Google My Business profile is non-negotiable, especially when you combine it with that focus on quality links. And finally, you have to track your results.
Things like referral visits and conversions. That's how you prove this whole strategy is actually working for you.
When you boil it all down, it comes back to one simple, powerful idea. In the digital world we live in today, it's the strategic connections you build that are going to fuel your visibility and drive real, measurable growth like nothing else.
So, that leaves us with one final question for you. Have you ever tried guest posting as a strategy for your own website? What happened? What kind of results did you see? It's such a powerful tool, and we would love to hear about your experiences. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.